Your electric car's battery is the most expensive and important part of the vehicle. You can power the car for 8, 10, even 15 years. But one day, it will no longer hold enough charge to drive the way you need. What actually happens then? Does it just get thrown away? Does it end up in a landfill? Or is there a second life waiting for it? Most people assume a dead EV battery is completely useless. The truth is far more interesting. When a battery drops to about 70–80% of its original capacity, it's no longer ideal for a car, but it still has years of useful energy left. So what do companies do with these massive, heavy, high-voltage packs? How are the valuable metals inside recovered? And could the battery that once powered your car one day help store solar energy for an entire neighborhood? Stay with me, because the end of an EV battery's life is not the end of its story. It's the beginning of a completely new chapter. Welcome to Story Behind the Things, the channel where we uncover the hidden journeys of the everyday objects and systems that shape modern life. If you love learning what really happens behind the scenes, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next. Let's start with how an EV battery dies. Lithium-ion batteries don't suddenly stop working like an old phone battery that refuses to turn on. They gradually lose capacity. After years of charging, discharging, heat, and cold, the battery can no longer store as much energy. Automakers generally consider a pack at the end of its automotive life when it reaches around 70–80% of its original capacity. At that point, the car's range has dropped enough that most drivers want a replacement or a new vehicle. But that battery is still far from dead. There are three main paths it can take: second life reuse, recycling, or in rare cases, disposal. Second life reuse is the preferred first step in many places. The battery pack is removed, tested, and often reconfigured. Even at 70% capacity, it can still store a large amount of energy. These packs are being used for stationary energy storage, helping stabilize the power grid, store excess solar or wind energy, or provide backup power for buildings and factories. A battery that can no longer push a car 250 miles may still serve reliably for another 5–10 years in a less demanding role. Recycling is the ultimate destination for almost every pack. When the battery is no longer useful even for second life applications, it is sent to specialized facilities. The process usually begins with safe discharge and dismantling. The pack is broken down into modules and cells, then one of several methods is used. Mechanical shredding produces black mass, a powder rich in valuable metals. Hydrometallurgy uses chemical solutions to dissolve and recover lithium, nickel, cobalt, and other materials. Pyrometallurgy involves high-temperature smelting. Newer direct recycling methods try to recover and repair the cathode materials with less energy. Modern recycling can recover a high percentage of the critical materials, which can then be used to make new batteries. This reduces the need for fresh mining and helps close the loop in the battery supply chain. Disposal in landfills is the least desirable option and is increasingly restricted. Batteries contain materials that can be hazardous if not handled properly, and they also represent a loss of valuable resources. Interesting facts most people don't know. An EV battery is usually considered dead for car use at 70–80% capacity, but it can still have many years of useful life left. Second life batteries are already being used to store renewable energy and support the power grid. Modern recycling can recover the majority of critical metals like lithium, nickel, and cobalt. China currently processes the largest volume of end-of-life EV batteries and has strong mandates for recycling. The US and Europe are putting more emphasis on giving batteries a second life before recycling. Direct recycling methods that try to rejuvenate the cathode material instead of fully breaking it down are an active area of research. That's the story of what happens when an EV battery reaches the end of its first life. A journey from powering cars to storing clean energy to becoming the building blocks of the next generation of batteries. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you're subscribed to Story Behind the Things. Drop a comment and tell me, what's another part of the EV or energy world you'd like us to explore next? Your ideas are read, acknowledged, and often become future videos. And if you're ready for the next story, hit that next button. I'll see you there. Thanks for watching.